Welcome back at forum number 1. I'd like to remind you again that you have the possibility to ask your questions here in the room as well as online. So you can click on the icon for Q&A and then you can ask your questions even during the presentation. And of course, afterwards, we have the time to answer your questions. So let's talk about advanced manufacturing capabilities. We want to talk about a modern method combined with simulation in real world trials for specialized custom-made products, and our Trelleborg experts, Azzopardi and Bartosz Witkowski, they will give us a glimpse into the latest R&D manufacturing capabilities.
Azzopardi is a mechanical engineer who has been at Trelleborg since 2011. Focusing on the R&D center. He has worked at multiple Trelleborg Sealing Solutions locations and is currently leading the product management team in Malta. Luke will be presenting aside Bartosz Witkowski, who is the product and business development manager working for Trelleborg Sealing Solutions since 2019. Bartosz has been in the product and industrialization field for over 10 years. They will be presenting the advanced research and development and the manufacturing capabilities of modern polymer sealing technology.
Okay, good morning everybody.
Morning.
So we are pleased to present advanced manufacturing capabilities. So in our presentation we'll be focusing on, advanced manufacturing capabilities linked with the multi-component products and rubber-to-metal products. And why multi-component products? Because we see significant increase of the needs of that products in the market, and we see also some motivations in the background. So that's why that technology is often referred to be a key technology. Our content will be also inseparably linked with the watchword innovation. I believe you will be able to catch that elements of innovation in our presentations. Now we also could ask ourselves why we need new manufacturing capabilities. Why it's so important? Why we need to focus on that? What we would like to achieve with those elements? Someone said that companies must innovate or will die. So let's find out what those capabilities will bring. So we would like to right now present an overview. So just the essential elements of those capabilities, describe the mechanism, the processes, elements that are needed to build manufacturing capabilities.
So if we take a closer look at what we're going to present in the upcoming slides, we'll definitely be touching the material subject for multi-component and rubber to metals. We'll be looking into capabilities related to machines, tooling capabilities, and of course, the big role of automation for such enablement of technologies to be rolled out. So a multi-component part, by definition, is a molded combination of two or more polymeric materials. This presentation will be focusing on rubber or elastomer to plastic to what regards multi-components for the case here today. So manufacturing technology is quite intensive for these type of parts. So why do we go for maybe more complicated and advanced processes here? When you think that we produce single component parts, rubber only parts, you need to think as well as these need to be assembled in the hardware in order to function and perform the sealing functionality of them. For different reasons, that might be that assembly might not be possible or simply would not provide the function required out of the seal throughout its lifetime. In such situations, multi-component and rubber-to-metal products can provide the technical lead required by such applications. Together with this come also the advantages of having a single source for what could potentially have been multiple manufacturing sites providing different parts. Given the logistical nightmares we've seen in the last years, this could be a good winning point. Also, we have to think about the product and quality management being streamlined through one production facility for multi-components and rubber to metal parts.
Okay, and just give you a definition of rubber to metal parts. So it's also a combination of few elements. But in this situation, we are talking about the metal that is chemically and mechanically treated, and the elastomer that is bonded to the metal during the molding process.
At Trelleborg, we have various sites where we do our production of multi-components and rubber to metal parts. So multi-component part production is subdivided by virtue of the elastomer being used. So if it's LSR, it's Stein am Rhein, Pernik, and Delano. For TPEs, it's Delano, Streamwood, and Malta. And for thermoset multi-component parts, that would fall under Malta.
Okay, and focusing on rubber to metal sites that products are in the interest of those sites, we can show Czechowice, Poland as the lead plant, but there are also others that support production of rubber to metal parts. So there is also a site in UK, in Tewkesbury, in Sweden, Earthmark, and in France, Condé.
So the success of a multi-component part relies heavily on the ability for the different materials to bond. To the scope, we have a product development center, which is mainly dedicated to test different material combinations. What happens is that these new material combinations are tested in tensile deformation in order to assess the strength of the particular pair bond. These results are tabulated and publicized internally through our compatibility matrix. This testing focuses purely on chemical bonding, so we don't have any mechanical bonding when we do these types of tests. In cases where we are not achieving the required level of strength, we look at secondary processes, such as, for example, surface activation, to help reach or try to reach the required level of strength for a bond pair.
Okay, and talking about the bonding, so we touch a very sensitive topic, which is the choice of proper primer agent, primer coating, because that visible, literally visible, invisible element in the products, in multi-component rubber to metal products, sometimes decides about everything. So if we will choose bad primer, bad bonding, so we will fail. Even we'll have the best metal, best rubber, the product will not transfer the principle of the design. So that's why it's so important. And also there is no open knowledge on the market. So we need to constantly work on new combination, on new primers, on new polymers, and also polymers are changing. There are some alternatives. We're changing some ingredients in the polymer. So that's why we always need to keep an eye on that elements and choosing best connection, rubber, substrate, and primer.
For multi-component parts, making use of LSR, the story is a bit different, majorly because the bonding agent is typically added to the polymer itself rather than through an external process. So normally this bonding agent is enough, of course, to get good bonding response with the different plastics in use.
Okay, great innovation occurs when you can get technology to the next level. So to not leave that sentence as an empty slogan, Trelleborg, shaping its advanced manufacturing capabilities, put emphasis on following issues and the synergy between them. So we'll start with the polymer development. So since decades is an area of expertise in Trelleborg. Material compliance. So this is what already Luke mentioned. So how to connect some substrate with a rubber and what kind of primer you should use. Virtual simulation, not only for the mold flow simulation, but also simulation of the whole automated cell. So just to see how it works. On few of those, we would like to highlight in particular way. So this is the direct injection, flashless tooling technology, and automation, robotization. We will tell more about those three because they are quite important and significant. We're talking about advanced capabilities. When it comes to the automation, it always goes hand in hand with multifunctional gripper and automatic visual inspection. So just concluding that section, more details will be on the next slides. Customer entrusting us with a product, also invest some time, some money, of course, the capabilities, and wants to obtain best products. So want to find a way to find the edge over the competitors. And those are the pillars of our technology capabilities that ensure that we will succeed and also customer will succeed.
Correct. We always as well advocate of course, that for new projects, there is very early participation from the manufacturing sites and expert leads in order to assist the customer better throughout these new projects. So several considerations go into the manufacturing planning phase for multi-component and rubber to metal parts, as we are emphasizing. One of the main ones being the choice of the machine and its associated functions. So of course, the size of the part in question that need to be produced is very important. It will dictate the size of the machine, the platen, and the cavitation possible within a particular tool. It is also important to see how the part will be moving from one side to the other of the tool. If it's going to be a rotary type of tool or a pick and place mechanism, because these, of course, will require different machine capabilities. Material is very crucial. So in the machine screw and injection unit, this has to be tailored for a particular material. When materials are particularly aggressive, the metal of choice has to be different than for conventional conventional materials, and as well specialty coatings are sometimes added. A number of projects as well make use of what we term material distributions block, and a material distribution block main purpose is basically that of keeping the material in a safe environment until this is injected into the final location, into the final tool. Functions that one would typically associate perhaps with a tool are often actuated through direct machine functions. So systems which demote parts, assist with venting, and even maintaining correct temperatures within the tool are all very closely linked to the machine capabilities.
Okay, right now a few words about the tooling. Yeah, that topic is really deep, so we'll just touch the surface. But with that new tooling capabilities, we address many problems and challenges we used to have with the old capabilities, or let's say conventional standard capabilities, where you use injection or compression molding, so you need to deal with some waste, with manual handling, and all of this internal transport, so also the cost. So now with that new approach, with the tool, that just imagine that tool which consists of dozens of platens elements. So just two is for the inserts, and the rest is just to build a cold runner block that deliver the material to the cavity, but also directly to the cavity where seal is positioned. So there is no deltas, there is no runners, there is no waste. So there is nothing so we skip all those elements that don't bring any added value to the product. So this is great benefit, I think, for everybody. And also the product that comes out of the tool will be called the flashless. Of course, there is not something like flashless, because if you have the parting line, there will be always some flash. But you are able to minimize that flash so hard that it will be always below the even very strict customers' limitations.
A special mention with what regards to automation has to be dedicated to part handling. So different products will have different geometries, of course, and different features requiring specific adaptations for their handling. We do consider our part handling device, which we call the end of arm or end of tool, as an integral part of the tool, because so much as the tool is catered for one part, so is the part handling device. Part handling is very important when one considers that it will manage the movement of the parts between the tool and has the potential to be used as well for inspection stages, for testing the parts in line with the process, and as well for packaging the parts before shipment.
Okay, so concluding, we are able to manufacture parts in a continuous flow. So starting from the rubber strip or the pellets of the plastic, ending with the final product produced in a fully automated way. So we skip off every internal transport. So there is no waste, there is no stoppages. Also, we can minimize the influence of the human factor, the errors that comes from the humans. We are able also to, for instance, talking about the rubber to metal parts, we are able to position metals in the tool vertically. So using the magnet elements, metals are stick to those magnet elements, and we can use, for instance, horizontal machines. So using the horizontal machines, developing the automation is much easier, it's much cheaper. You have a big field of different solutions. Instead, working on the vertical tools that are mainly used for the metal parts, there are much more complications, of course, costs to end up with the efficient automation.
Correct?
Okay, so right now is the time to wrap up a little bit what we already said. So let's focus on the benefits that advanced manufacturing capabilities brings. Okay, here we are. So our goals was to show you the principles of that approach. So just to highlight the innovation approach and how many features that approach brings and the cutting-edge technologies behind what we present. So getting back to the questions we raised at the beginning, why we need those new capabilities, I think right now with that knowledge we can answer to the question that with those advanced manufacturing capabilities we are focusing on the area that is also in the field of interest of the customer, because we are able to decrease the part price. We are able to assure best quality. Also, when it comes to the sustainability and the waste of the material, so you can skip all the waste and you just deliver that amount of the rubber to the part that you needed. So I think those three elements are very crucial here.
Correct. So very much at Trelleborg's heart, there is of course innovation and the continuous improvement on processing. And I want to spend a word on our product development centers. So as I speak, we already have a product development center up and running in Malta for the multi-component concerning plastic and rubber products. But in our pipeline, we have other product development centers. So for LSR processing, we will be having a product development center in Stein am Rhein. For rotary seals, we will have capabilities in Torino, and for rubber to metal parts, we'll have Čakovice with their own product development center as well.
Yeah, exactly. We're just starting with our development center, but we'll be focusing on the areas we mentioned today, so the compliance, so reducing the cure time, and we'll be also working on the first small prototypes tool, so to have shorter time and to answer to the customers also as quick as possible. So thank you
for
your attention.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your insights. I mean, this was a real deep dive, I would say. Thank you. Do we have any questions here in the room? Then you can raise your hand and we have a microphone. And of course, the online viewers, they can also ask their questions when you click on the Q&A button. Actually, we have some questions, but I would just double check if we have any question here in the room. But you can think a little bit. So as I said, we had a deep dive, and I would say the questions are also where we specific. So do you have any experience with co-molding parts consisting of two elastomers of the same or different family types and maybe differing hardness?
So, with regards to the product development center capabilities in Malta, so far we are focusing more on the plastic to rubbers, but if applications come arise and demands arise for such elastomer combinations, it's definitely something we would be trying and testing out. So the product development center puts us, I would say, a step ahead of particular demands, whereas we have a compatibility matrix that already gives us a quick reference to what we already have. But of course, for new demands, we are able to cater for and assist in the particular query.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the specific case. Thank you. Do you have any questions in the audience? So, yes, there we have a question. You will get the microphone.
What are your experiences with rotary tables in injection molding process? Let's say, effectivity and this stuff?
So we do have in the development center actually a rotary table machine, which we use. It is, I would say, a bit more cumbersome on maybe the maintenance level. So pick and place mechanisms, I would say, are a bit more sleek, a bit more able to handle the production process, I would say, in a safe and with less maintenance throughout its lifetime. So that's our experience so far.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Another question? So a little bit what you said, that you can assist. So if a product, you have problems that materials don't bond together like requested, what would you propose?
So of course we always suggest to have the compatibility matrix at a very early stage to know which materials bond well and not. But if the customer is still requesting for a particular pair, we either suggest to have secondary surface activation techniques so as to aid the bonding process, to aid the two materials to bond together. As well, a bit more of a drastic reaction would be to advance some design changes in order to suggest mechanical locking between the bond pair, so as just not to have a pure chemical bond. So
in the first place, you would react very quickly, of course, and in the second place, it would be like, it sounds a bit like a longer process.
Correct. Mm-hmm. Because surface activation is, of course, something that requires a different process. It can be in line or as well as not in the production flow, but it requires definitely another process with what we mentioned here.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other questions? I guess not right now. I guess you will be here the whole day, so people can reach out to you. Yes. Thank you so much for your insights.
Perfect. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So right now, Konrad and me, we want to do a little summary of the day until here, of the morning. So, Konrad, maybe you could sneak a little bit in the other forums here and online. So what is your highlight for today?
So many highlights. I think for me, the key takeaway is the future is bright when we bring the right capabilities with the needs together. And that is, again, highlighting what we said in the introduction, confirming what we said. We need that proximity with our customers. I mean, what you have just seen, that is a perfect example. It's a capability. That in itself is not a product we can sell. And if you, our customers, don't understand that capability, you will not ask for solutions that we can realize with these type of capabilities. That for me is a key message. We need that proximity, that what we have as really state-of-the-art technology is being brought to challenges that you have. This calls for functional integration. This calls for taking assemblies out of your operations, because what today is probably 3 or 4 components that need to be assembled can in future be one component that you could directly drop into your application and take away a lot of burdens within your operations, for example. But of course, other highlights are what we do with hydrogen. I mean, that is definitely one of the megatrends that we are believing in. And so also what the panel discussed before that last session, powering the future, it's not only about where does the energy come from, and in my usual saying is, well, 10 years ago we were all believing electricity comes out of the plug in the wall. Today we're asking the question, how does the electricity get into the wall? And so empowering ourselves, our organizations, not only where does the energy come from, but how do we boost the energy of our organizations to focus on the right things, definitely were highlights for me this morning.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you as an engineer, do you learn something new here?
Yeah, in my role as sort of the Senior Vice President, Innovation and Technology, I sometimes have to pretend that I know everything and then better. But reality is, yes, in every presentation I learned something new, be it the dependency of how much we use hydrogen already today. That was, again, well, I had sort of an idea, but that it is that deep, I wasn't aware. Some of these capabilities, of course, I find super fascinating, and there is new things in there, absolutely. Well, and I really sincerely hope that there was also something you didn't know when you came here and are able to take home.
Yes. Okay. So from my side, that's it. Otherwise, if you want to add something for now.
Just the reminder, we have very many of our colleagues here, including our C-suite representation. Feel free to reach out. We certainly would like to speak to all of you, but if you would like to speak to us, don't be shy. Just come and see us.
Yeah, especially right now in the lunch break. Because
exactly.
Right now we have 1 hour of lunch break, so you can use that, of course, also for networking here on site. And I'd like to give you a short overview of what's coming after the lunch break. So very interesting, because Konrad, we will see you again in a very interesting panel. How secure is the supply chain of Trelleborg? It will take place here in forum number 1. Then we have forum number 2. Maybe we have a slide for that because of the overview after the break. Then we have forum number 2, the biopharmaceutical boom, so realizing your ambitions. Then we have the radial oil seals for the future that will take place in forum number 3 as well. As I already told you, it will be streamed in the foyer. And then the forum number 4, Service Plus Laser Marking, and it will be streamed in the catering area. And of course, in the catering area, you have the chance right now to grab some food. And there's also our band, Red Lounge. It's a jazz band. They will play the whole time, 1 hour, a singer and a saxophonist. And in the live stream, you can also listen to the band. So right now you have the chance to ask questions, to network, to get some fresh air, and to have some fruit, to be relaxed. And then we can start with the second part at 1 p.m. Thank you so much.
Thanks.